An empire was declared and died before the world could notice. Chapter 1. The declaration no one heard. An empire was declared and died before the world could notice. In the year 1893, the world was obsessed with empire. Europe wasn't just expanding, it was competing. Britain ruled oceans. France colored Africa in blue on its maps. Germany, late to the game, was desperate to catch up. Borders were being drawn by rulers who had never set foot on the lands they claimed. And in the middle of that chaos, something strange happened. Not a war, not a revolution, not even a rebellion. A single man stepped forward and declared himself emperor. No ancient bloodline, no divine blessing, no permission from history, just a proclamation. Somewhere in Africa, under a scorching sun, flags were raised and papers were signed. Titles were assigned. A brand new empire was announced to the world. At least, that was the plan, because the truth was harsh. Almost no one was listening. While global powers negotiated colonies and armies marched across continents, this declaration disappeared into the noise of imperial ambition. The empire existed only because someone said it did, and that was never going to be enough. Chapter 2. Power without proof. For the first few days, nothing happened. No celebration, no resistance, no reaction. The emperor believed silence meant acceptance, but silence, in politics, often means indifference. This empire had no real borders, no standing army, no treasury, no bureaucracy. Even its capital city was unclear. What it did have was confidence, and confidence is dangerous when mistaken for strength. The more days passed, the clearer the truth became. This empire had no power beyond imagination. Nearby colonial authorities eventually noticed the disturbance. A man was claiming land that already belonged, at least on paper, to someone else. These authorities didn't panic, they didn't negotiate, they simply acted. A small military force was dispatched. No dramatic invasion, no cannons fired, just boots on the ground and documents in hand. When soldiers arrived, they found no defenses, no resistance, no loyal army waiting to fight. There was nothing to overthrow. Within days, the so-called emperor was arrested. His proclamation meant nothing to men who carried rifles and international recognition. The flag was lowered. The empire was over. 11 days after it began. Chapter 3. A collapse without a war. What makes the 11-day empire so unsettling isn't how violently it fell, but how quietly. No battles, no executions, no famous last stand. History barely noticed. Most school textbooks don't mention it. Many history books ignore it entirely. When it appears, it's often reduced to a footnote, a strange anecdote about ambition gone wrong. Why? Because history doesn't forgive weakness disguised as confidence. Empires rise through force, alliances, and legitimacy. This one had none of the three. It wasn't destroyed by an enemy. It was erased by reality. And that makes it more haunting than empires that fell in flames. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Authority. Here's the uncomfortable truth this story reveals. Power is not declared. It's recognized. You can call yourself emperor, but unless others believe it, nothing changes. The man behind the 11-day empire misunderstood something fundamental. He believed authority came from announcements, symbols, and titles, but real power comes from systems, people willing to obey, institutions that enforce, allies that recognize. Without those, an empire is just theater, and theater collapses the moment the audience walks away. Chapter 5. Why this forgotten empire? Still matters today. The 11-day empire feels almost absurd. but its lesson is timeless. Every era produces leaders, movements, and nations built on bold declarations. Some succeed. Most do not. On paper, they look powerful. In speeches, they sound unstoppable. But when tested, they vanish. The 11-Day Empire teaches us that history is ruthless. It does not care about ambition. It does not reward confidence alone. It rewards preparation, legitimacy, and endurance. Everything else fades. Final reflection. An empire that existed only in time. 11 days, less than 2 weeks, barely enough time for the world to turn its head. And yet, this empire existed. It had a name, a ruler, a flag. And then, nothing. No monuments, no legacy, no descendants fighting to reclaim its glory. Just a reminder, buried in history, that even the boldest dreams collapse when they aren't grounded in reality. An empire was declared, and died before the world could notice. Some empires fall slowly, others vanish so fast, history barely remembers they were ever real. Subscribe Midnight Empire and stay with us.